Carlos from Woodland, California. I have two questions regarding Hulk Hogan. Well, a lot of Hogan coverage on the show this week. First, I recently watched Hogan against Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam with Michaels overselling. What is the story behind this? My second question is, I recently saw a Hulk Hogan interview where he was basically saying that he was responsible for The Undertaker being hired by Vince McMahon. But I've also heard it was other people from WCW who made the recommendation. Do you know if Undertaker's hiring was the result of Hulk Hogan making it happen? Well, the SummerSlam match is just a matter of two master politicians. Only one can win. The one who was always going to win was the one that had 100% creative control worked into his contract, and thy name is Hulk Hogan. I believe my understanding of it was always that Michaels had suggested he beat Hulk at SummerSlam, and then Hulk comes back and beats him in the rematch. They would have two matches. Or whatever the order was, Shawn would win one, Hulk would win the other. That way it's 50-50. Hulk said, well, brother, I like this idea better. How about I win both matches? Shawn didn't like that very much, but he had no choice. He had to go along with it. He was going to be a team player, but he also acted like a goofball. I know a lot of people like that. I thought it was pretty entertaining too, but did it shit on Hogan? Yeah, it did. It was definitely disrespectful. There's no doubt about that. He was bouncing around like a cartoon character. And then he came out on TV the next night and he was kind of shooting on Hogan. He was obviously very bitter about the fact that he was not going to get a win over Hogan. And look, you could understand where he's coming from if that's how he felt, because look, both big names in the business, both command a lot of respect. They're going to work a program together for the first time. If they're going to have two matches, if you're Shawn Michaels, why wouldn't I win one? I'm the heel. Shouldn't I win the first one? And that leads to the rematch and Hulk can get his win back? Yeah, I mean, I could totally understand why he would be upset about that. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for either one of them in these situations because I think they've both played games in their career with a lot of other people. And what goes around comes around. This coming from a guy, by the way, who once proclaimed, I don't lay down for anybody. So it's hard to have too much sympathy in that case. But if you want to know why he did what he did, there you go. Now, as far as the second thing, did Hogan get The Undertaker signed? I can't sit here and say for sure that it didn't happen. I think what Hogan has said is that, and I don't know if the timeline works on this, it might. He filmed that movie Suburban Commando. Undertaker had a role. He was a henchman in the movie. And the movie filmed around the time just before Undertaker came over to WWE. Is it possible that in working with him on the movie set, Hogan talked to Vince? Because Hogan talked to Vince all the time. I mean, when Hogan filmed No Holds Barred, he and Vince shared a trailer. God knows what they were doing inside that trailer. But, they were very close. And so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Hogan could have talked to Vince and said, hey, you should look into this guy. I can't say for sure that didn't happen. I just know that when Hogan tells that story, it reeks of bullshit, as many of his stories do. And I have never once, and I would happily take a look if you have video proof of this, if Undertaker has publicly talked about this before, I would love to see it or hear it. In any interview that Undertaker has done, and he's done a few, I mean, he just did the one recently, but he did one many years ago where he talked, to Michael Landsberg on his DVD. This Is My Yard or whatever it is. If you can find Undertaker giving Hulk Hogan credit for bringing him into WWE, I would love to see it. Because I have not one time in my life, when Undertaker tells that story about Vince McMahon calling him, oh, are you my Undertaker? And signing him to a contract, he never once mentions Hulk Hogan's name. He's never once thanked Hogan for helping him or making the recommendations. So I've never heard Undertaker give Hogan credit for it. So it just reeks of BS to me, but I can't say for sure that he didn't.